a stamped receiver, but in 1951 they switched to milled up until about 1961 because there was some problems with the guide rails here in the ejector snapping off with the welds on the original stamped units. Today, if you own a stamped original unit, it's worth thousands of dollars, upwards of $8,000 because they're so rare to find. But we're going to go over the primary differences between the AKM and the AK-47 today. First off, we're going to start out with the AKM, which is this model here. Is a full kilogram lighter than the original AK-47. Now I'm going to go over the reasons and why it's lighter. There's a few main reasons. Number one, the buttstock is, aside from there being a hole drilled for the cleaning kit, there's also another hole drilled to lighten it. The receiver is made from 1mm thick stamped steel. I think it's chrome moly steel too, other than just a milled, big billet of milled steel. And what was the next thing? Oh yeah, the receiver cover. As you'll notice on AK-47s, there's no ribbing on it. It's just smooth. The receiver cover on an AKM is 0.5 millimeter thick steel. On an AK-47, it's 1 millimeter thick. They lightened it but kept the strength by putting the ribbing on here. Another thing that doesn't contribute as much but still contributes to the weight is the difference in the gas block. The original AK-47 gas block was much more bulkier and much thicker than this gas block that's on here right now. It doesn't equate to much. It's about, I'm going to say 10 grams. You know, probably more than that. Probably about 20 grams of weight. There's a difference, but it's not too terrible. Another difference is, this has nothing to do with the weight, but the way that the gas port, the gas tube is made. On an AK-47, there'll be holes drilled in the side of the gas tube to alleviate extra gas pressure. On the AKM, there is no holes, but the holes are drilled in the gas block instead of the gas tube. The original AK-47 had a Type 1 bayonet, which did not have a bayonet lug right here. It slipped over and then clamped on behind the gas block right here. Another difference is the original AK-47 just had it had a threaded barrel, but there was just a thread protector put on it. They didn't make them with the 45-degree slant muzzle brake. Another difference is on the AK-47, the sights are only graduated from 100 to 800 meters. On the AKM, they're 100 to 1,000 meters. Another thing that was introduced new to AKMs was the side scope mount, the side rail mount. This was introduced on AKMs because they saw a need for something other than iron sights, such as night optics from like the 1970s. That's what this was primarily designed for, was night optics. It wasn't designed around red dots or anything back in the 70s. It was for like I said, night optics, thermal stuff, big bulky shit that weighed like, you know, 2-3 kilograms, big huge fucking scope in there. Another difference is in the the fully automatic AKMs, which is obviously everything but civilian models. The AKM has what they call a hammer retarder, which is the device that when the trigger is pulled, you can see it's unloaded. When the trigger is pulled, the hammer is going to go forward, the bolt, it's going to hit the primer, it's going to go back, and instead of the hammer just immediately following the bolt forward, there's something called a hammer retarder, which literally what it means is it retards or slows the movement of the hammer until the bolt carrier is fully closed. Then it releases and hits. And you'll be holding the trigger down and that'll go. It's just so. The original AK-47 was more of a type of a slam fire gun, kind of like an SMG is, like an MP40 or a Sten. Here, let me show you something on here. The original AK-47, as you can see, there's this little nub in the back here, which pushes the hammer. The original AK-47 nub was extended back a little further, so that, in a sense, when you pulled the bolt, the hammer was literally slam firing, but this little nub here would protect the firing pin from being hit. On the AKM, it doesn't do that. It would protect the firing pin from being hit until the bolt was fully locked, not until the bolt carrier was all the way forward, just until the bolt was locked. See, the bolt here is locked right now, but if it's like back that far, the bolt isn't locked, but the bolt carrier would not be all the way forward when an AK-47 would start to fire because there would be no hammer retarder in there. There's a few differences also in the bolt carrier and bolt assembly design. Please keep in mind that both the bolts and bolt carriers are fully interchangeable. There's just some weight lightening stuff that they did on the bolt and the AKM, like they made some parts of it thinner. It didn't really sacrifice any strength or anything. They did something with the metals. I don't know exactly what, but they did make it lighter, a little bit lighter. Other than that, that's pretty much the primary differences between the AK-47 and the AKM. Most parts are fully interchangeable between the two firearms. It's just one was made, just a little different than the other. Like I said, the AK-47 does not have a hammer retarder in it. Oh yeah, they also both have the cleaning rod, obviously. But if you got any questions or comments on this video, you can feel free to send me a message. Oh, one other thing I'm going to mention too. The AKM in fully automatic has been proven to be more accurate than the AK-47. I'm guessing that's because of the bolt carrier being all the way forward, which in a sense keeps the bolt locked longer. It keeps, if the bolt carrier is back this far, the bolt isn't going to be locked for like 1/100th of a second less or something like that before the bullet's out. So it's more accurate in fully automatic fire, the AKM is. But as far as semi-automatic fire goes at long-range targets, from my experience, I have seen that the milled units are a little more accurate. Groupings are about 1 centimeter tighter at 100 meters. It's not really anything too terribly noticeable, but if you had to say one was more accurate, I'd go with the milled unit for just centimeter tighter groupings. But this here is pretty accurate. This is the Lancaster arms with a match grade barrel in it, so this is more accurate than the standard milled units, but this is kind of a custom one. But you guys got any comments or questions? I'll do my best to answer any technical info on any AK variant. Here's just an overview of it. Okay, Spartan 765 out.